Hello, BCSD third graders. Mrs. Whitman here from Poly Elementary School, and today I am making a video to help you all out with some of the math tasks in the distance learning packet. I received some feedback from parents and students saying that they wished they had the answers, so that is exactly what I am going to give you today. So, I have the second distance learning packet right here in front of me. I know that it says days 1 through 15, but really this is the April 14th through May something, I can't remember, packet. It's the second packet from the district. And if you'll join me, I'm going to be flipping through to the correct page. Before I do that, though, I want to say that this page right here that says stay connected, I made a little video about the distance learning website that BCSD recently put out, and I talk about all of these things in that video. And if you go to my YouTube page, you can find that video there. It's called BCSD Distance Learning Walkthrough. So check that out if you want to learn more about this. I'm going to skip ahead now to the math section of the packet. And I'm going to start with day 1. And it looks like page 17. It says day 1 math task at the top. So I'm going to start with A. And I want to encourage you to try these problems on your own before you watch this video, because it's really important that you attempt to do this on your own with your own brain and your own math strategies before you watch for my answers, because that's how our brains grow and develop, is from challenging ourselves. Okay, so here we go with the answers. A says Juanita spent $9 on each of her 6 grandchildren at the fair. How much money did she spend? Okay, so this is kind of sounding like a multiplication problem to me, because I know that Juanita is spending the same amount of money on all of her 6 grandchildren. And we know that there are lots of different strategies for multiplication. And the one that's coming to mind for me right now is repeated addition. Now, I want to emphasize that there is no right or wrong way to approach this math task, in any math task for that matter. There's never one way to solving a math problem. So, whoops, sorry about that. Repeated addition is just one way that you could approach this. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 9 plus 9 plus 9. Now, the danger with repeated addition is losing track of how many times we write that repeated number. And so what I like to do, just to make sure that I have done it right, is I'll go and actually go back and count how many times I wrote the number. And it says right here, 6 grandchildren, so I'm looking for 6 9s. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I've got enough 9s there. Now I've got to work on finding my total so that I can find the answer to how much money did she spend. Okay, so to do this, I think I'm going to combine some of those 9s first. I'm going to, I know 9 plus 9 is 18. So it looks like I've got a couple of 18s here if I combine those 9s. Okay, so now I've got 18 plus 18 plus 18. So I'm going to write these vertically over here where I have some extra space. Doesn't matter where. 18 plus 18, 8 plus 8 is 16. I'm going to regroup up here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's $36, and I've got to add 18 more. So 8 plus 6 is 14, regroup. And then 3 plus 1 is 4, plus another 1 is 5. Now, if you had memorized your math facts before, your answer to this should match the math fact $9 times 6. And if you already had that one memorized, 9 times 6 is indeed 54. Okay? So that is the answer to A. How much money did she spend? She spent $54 total on each of her 6 grandchildren. Okay, we're going to move on to B now. B says, Nita bought some games for her grandchildren for $8 each. If she spent a total of $48, how many games did Nita buy? Okay, the first thing that I'm noticing about this is this problem is a little bit different than the first because they give us a total in this one. We're not looking for the total. They already give us that. Another thing that I notice is that she spends, Nita bought some games for her grandchildren for $8 each. So we have that money element again. We know how much she's spending on each grandchild. But what we don't know is this. How many games did Nita buy? So if I write this out like a multiplication fact, like the one above, I have $8 times something. This is the part that we don't know this time. We do know that it's going to equal $48. We know the total. So what I'm looking for is this part, the question mark. How many games did Nita buy? Now, when there's an unknown factor, the factor is this missing number right here. One strategy that I like to use is an array. And I can do that like this. Let me show you the array strategy. So I'm going to start by making columns of 8 because I know that she spends $8 on her grandchildren. So I'm going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, let me fill in a dot here. 7, 8. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now I got to the number 8. That is how much she spends on one of the grandchildren. So now I'm going to make another column. I'm going to start over with my counting and count 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now what I should have done instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I should have counted on from my first column. Okay. So I'm going to count how many I have so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in my first column. Now I'm going to keep going. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 now with my second column. Okay. And instead of just counting to 8, I'm going to count on. So I stopped at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay. Now keep that number in your head real quick. 24. I'm going to write it over to the side. It's really important when you're doing this array strategy that you're keeping your rows and columns nice and straight. Okay. See how nice and straight my columns are so far? And I'm lining these dots up nice and straight. If I don't, I might get off with my counting and then I have to start all over again. Okay. So the last dot that I counted was 24 and I'm going to keep going until I get to 48. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So here we go. 24. Next is 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Keep going until we get to 48. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Okay, we got to our number. The target number was 48. I know I have 48 dots in there now in my array. Now what I need to do to find the answer is I need to count how many columns that I made. I know that I have 8 dots in each column, but I don't know how many columns I ended up with. So let's figure it out. Let's take a look. I'm going to label it in a different color here for you. Okay. So it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We ended up with 6 columns of 8. Now, if you've memorized your math facts, 8 times 6 does equal 48. So that means we did arrive at the correct answer. And we have our proof right here with this array strategy. Okay, so that missing number over here, that's a 6. So how many games did Nita buy? She bought 6 games for her grandchildren. Okay, moving on to C. Helen spent an equal amount of money on each of her 7 grandchildren at the fair. If she spent a total of $42, how much did each grandchild get? Okay, you know what? This is sounding a lot like B. It's sounding like we have the total again. Okay, let me change to a different color just a second. Let me use my blue again. We have our total, and this time it says on each of her 7 grandchildren. So the one difference with this is we're not given the amount of money, but we know how many grandchildren that she spent money on. So we've got another missing factor question, and this time it's going to be the amount of money times 7 equals our total. So even though this time we're looking for the amount of money, we can use that same array strategy. It doesn't matter, because when we're looking for a missing factor, it doesn't matter what position the factor is in. We can use the same strategy no matter what. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use that array strategy one more time. And I'm going to make columns of 7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I have a little bit more room this time. That's good. Now, once I get to 7, since that's the number I have over here, now I'm going to keep counting. I'm going to count on from 7. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Haven't gotten to 42 yet, so I'm going to keep counting. I was at 28 right there. Okay, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Okay, and I'm just going to look and make sure that all of my columns look nice and straight. My rows look nice and straight. Yep, so since I do have nice and straight rows and columns, I probably didn't make any mistakes with my counting there. I got to 42 over here. So now I can count to see how many columns I ended up with to give me my answer. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so we actually ended up with the same answer as in B. So the missing number right over here is going to be 6. And that does, if you know your math facts, that is the answer. 6 times 7 equals 42. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next page here for math. And I'm not going to, well, I think I'm going to let you try this on your own, the worksheets here. And that'll be it for this video. I'm going to make a separate video on how to do the day 1 math fluency because this comes up again and again and again in our packet. So I want to make a video that's dedicated to completing this worksheet and how to do it, because you're going to see this appear in the packet every day. So I'm going to make a separate video on this. Stay tuned for that. All right. Thank you all for tuning in for how to complete the math task for day 1 of the BCSD distance learning packet number 2. All right. I'll talk to you later.